Living as a Muslim here in Australia has never meant withdrawing from society. It has always meant navigating the different challenges around us. We live under secular law. We earn within systems that were never built around our values. We buy homes, we buy cars, we consume food and necessities in markets that normalize things our faith clearly warns us against. And over time, something subtle happens. What began as a necessity slowly turned into convenience. Convenience becomes a habit, and a habit, if we are not too careful, becomes a justification. At some point, many of us stop asking a simple but very uncomfortable question. Does the way I live, I earn, and consume still reflect what I believe? This is where many Muslims feel a quiet tension, not a rebellion, not a genuine rejection, just pure unease. Halal was never meant to be a label. It was meant to be a solid structure, a way of organizing life around us. Islam doesn't only ask what we do, it asks how and why we do it. Where does profit come from? Who carries the risk? And what happens when someone struggles? How do we treat weakness? Now, these questions matter most, not when life is comfortable, life is smooth, but when something actually goes wrong. Because the real difference between systems that shows up at the point of default and the point of action. In conventional finance, when someone falls behind, the system doesn't pause. Time keeps on ticking. Interest compounds. Penalties are added. And the debt continues to grow precisely when the person is at their weakest point. Hardship becomes revenue. That isn't accidental. It's part of the system. It's very much structural. Islam rejects that logic completely. In a proper Murabaha sale, the price is fixed from the beginning. Time does not inflate the debt. Delay does not generate profit. And if someone genuinely cannot continue, recovery is asset-based, not time-based. The asset may be sold. The remaining balance of the debt is settled. And because ownership already has transferred and belongs to the buyer, any surplus from the sale goes back to the buyers. No one profits from someone else's misery and misfortune. That distinction isn't technical. It is pure moral and it is pure honesty. And there's something many people don't realize. Australian law is not the obstacle we think it is. The law doesn't demand interest. It doesn't prohibit cost plus sales financing. It doesn't forbid deferred payments for real assets. What it demands is pure clarity, fairness, and accountability. Now, ironically, those are the very principles Islamic commercial law has insisted and is based on for centuries. The real barrier isn't the law of the land. It's whether we are willing to live with intention instead of stagnation. This is exactly why I founded the Sayyidina Omar Institute. The Institute is built on the understanding that living halal is not just about transactions. It's about who we are eventually becoming. At Sayyidina Omar Institute, we work on strengthening what I call the four inner structures: the intellect, the heart, and the self, and the spirit. Because when these inner structures are weak and fragile, people don't just make bad financial decisions. They lose clarity, they lose restraint, they lose purpose. And when these inner structures are strong, halal living becomes only natural. It's not forced, it's not performative, even it's not ritualistic. From this foundation flows the work I do in halal awareness training. Halal consumption is not just about what's on the plate. It's about what enters our lives, our income we earned, our contracts we agree upon, and the business dealings we do, our responsibilities to others. Food, finance, business, and daily choices are not separate conversations. They are one way of living. That's why I also took a small but practical step in the area of finance. I had actually built a simple tool, a very basic tool that generates a Murabaha-based vehicle sale agreement for the Australian context. It's structured as a sale, not a loan. This is a simple example of Murabaha where cost and profit are disclosed up front. The price is fixed. Ownership transfers to the buyer. There's no riba, there's no compounding, there's no penalty-based escalation. It is not perfect, and it's not final even, but it proves something important, that halal alternatives are possible here when inner clarity meets careful structure. And this brings me to an open invitation to all of you. On Saturday, 17th of January 2026, we will be holding a Living Halal workshop at Alhidayah Center in Wangara. This workshop brings together everything I've talked about today: character and inner structure through the Sayyidina Omar Institute, halal consumption through the Halal Awareness Training Program, and practical case studies in halal finance and daily decision-making in Australia. We will open the talk with honesty and integrity. We'll ask the hard questions. We will focus on alignment, not on perfection. If you're a parent raising children here in Australia, a young adult finding your footing, a business owner navigating ethical pressures, or someone who has felt the quiet tension between faith and daily life, I open this invitation to you to join us. Living halal is not about doing more. It's about doing what we already do, but with consciousness. May Allah place barakah in sincere efforts, strengthen our inner structures, and allow us to live lives that are clean, balanced, and pleasing to Him.